Netherlands are scarier than you think.
As often as you might think, but Somerville's having a crack here. Oh. He's off and running.
Somerville! Cody Gakpo. Sweden being blown away here.
But this was about the Dutch being complete and absolutely thumping Sweden in the way that they did.
Sure, the Dutch have never actually lifted a World Cup, and they're far from being anyone's favourites this year. But transformed under Ronald Koeman since 2023 and fuelled by a strong qualifying campaign, they head into 2026 with the belief, balance and firepower to hurt just about any opponent. But can they go all the way? This is why this Netherlands side might be capable of much more than simply showing up as dark horses, and why they could be ready to compete for it all. The Netherlands are often described as the greatest nation to have never won the World Cup, with no other team finishing runners-up as many times without ever lifting the trophy. Just 90 minutes have separated the Dutch from glory on 3 occasions: 1974, 1978 and 2010. In their first final, Johan Cruyff's legendary side were edged out 2-1 by hosts West Germany, before Argentina defeated them 3-1 after extra time on home soil 4 years later. Then in South Africa in 2010, it was Spain that delivered the latest heartbreak, as Andrés Iniesta's extra time winner was enough to secure La Roja's first World Cup title. To this day, the outstretched toe of Iker Casillas, denying Arjen Robben in that 2010 final, remains etched into Dutch football memory as a moment of national heartbreak, a split second that stood between them and rewriting history. Remarkably, however, that defeat to Spain remains the last time the Dutch have lost a World Cup match in normal time. Across their last 14 World Cup games, excluding penalty shootouts, they've won 9 and drawn 5. While in 2018, they did their best Italy impression and failed to qualify altogether. Overall, they also boast an impressive tournament record, having reached the semi-finals in 5 of the last 11 editions that they've qualified for. Clearly, when the Dutch make it to the big stage, they rarely go quietly. And now there's a growing belief within the squad of another memorable World Cup campaign. But for that to transpire, every piece must fall into place. According to Koeman, for whom this will be his first World Cup as a coach and only his second major tournament after leading the Netherlands to the semi-finals of Euro 2024. Koeman first took charge of the Netherlands in 2018, signing a 4-year deal after Dick Advocaat's resignation. He then guided the Dutch to the 2019 UEFA Nations League final and secured qualification for Euro 2020, before dipping to manage a crippled Barcelona side. 2.5 years later, Koeman returned for a second spell in 2023 following Louis van Gaal's retirement after the 2022 World Cup. Since then, he has steered the Netherlands to 2 more semi-finals. First in the 2023 Nations League and then at Euro 2024. His work, however, remains somewhat divisive in the Netherlands. While Koeman has earned praise for integrating a new generation of talented youngsters, following the blueprint laid out by Van Gaal, he has also faced criticism for a style of play that doesn't always reflect the free-flowing, attacking philosophy traditionally associated with the Dutch school, shaped by Cruyff and Rinus Michels. Yet perhaps that's the point. Maybe pragmatism is what the Netherlands need to finally end their World Cup curse. Unlikely maybe, but in football, nothing is impossible. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, we'd be incredibly grateful if you subscribed. Your support helps us grow and continue creating the content you love. The Netherlands booked their place at the World Cup by going unbeaten in UEFA Group G, winning 6 of 8 matches, scoring 27 goals and conceding just 4. They finished 3 points clear of a resilient Poland side, whom they drew against twice, and sealed top spot on the final match day with an emphatic 4-0 win over Lithuania. It was by no means a straightforward qualifying campaign, but Memphis Depay's 8 goals, enough to make him the second highest scorer in European qualifying, made it significantly smoother. Koeman is well aware, though, that his squad is not in the best condition. He has voiced concerns over key injury absentees such as Xavi Simons, Stefan de Vrij, Matthijs de Ligt and Jurrien Timber, while Justin Kluivert and Depay himself have only recently returned from layoffs and may lack full match sharpness. Reliability has therefore been central to Koeman's selection policy, and it's certainly no coincidence that 15 members of his 26-man squad played in the Premier League last season, second only to England's 21 representatives among all teams at the World Cup. By contrast, just 2 players, Guus Til and Wout Weghorst, are based in the Eredivisie, marking a historic low for a Dutch World Cup squad. However, this shift is more a reflection of the team's growth over the past 3.5 years, seeing as in 2022 there were 12 players active in the Eredivisie and only 3 playing in the Premier League. Spamming the squad with players seasoned in arguably the most competitive league in the world makes perfect sense for tournament football. But if the Netherlands are to make a deep run, Koeman will need his squad, especially its 5 veterans, performing at their absolute peak. The undisputed leader of the squad is Van Dijk, an ever-present figure who continues to defy time, having played every minute of Liverpool's Premier League campaign and even becoming the oldest outfield player to do so in the competition's history at nearly 35 years old. And since June 2025, the centre-back has logged over 5,800 minutes for club and country, more than any other player across Europe's top 5 leagues. Alongside his impeccable availability is his defending ability, which is still world-class. He led all Premier League players who contested at least 100 duels last season with a 73% success rate, while also topping the charts for aerial duels won and total clearances in the competition. In addition to his defensive reliability, he remains a major aerial threat. All 6 of his league goals this past season came from set pieces, a strength he consistently carries into the national team. In fact, among Dutch defenders, only Ronald Koeman and Frank de Boer have scored more international goals than Van Dijk. However, in a World Cup where set pieces could once again prove decisive, just as they recently have in club football, Van Dijk's dominance in the air may well be one of the Netherlands' most powerful weapons. But if Van Dijk embodies the team's mentality and resilience, then Barca midfielder De Jong is the brains, the metronome who makes them tick. His defining trait, ball retention, is elite, and among all players in Europe's top 5 leagues to attempt over 500 passes last season, the 29-year-old recorded the highest passing accuracy in the final third at 92.1%. 29? Honestly, it feels like just yesterday he was labelled a wonder kid. That control directly translates into results for his country too. Since his debut in September 2018, the Dutch have averaged 2.5 goals per game with De Jong in the side, compared to 1.9 without him, while their win rate rises significantly from 52% to 63%. After missing Euro 2024 through injury, he will be eager to show the very best version of himself to the world. In attack, the team's 3 main goal threats will likely be Depay, Gakpo and Denzel Dumfries. Despite no longer playing in Europe, the Netherlands' talisman remains Memphis Depay, who is already, believe it or not, the all-time leading scorer in Dutch history with 55 goals, surpassing the likes of Van Persie, Bergkamp, Robben and Van Nistelrooy. He has also scored at both the 2014 and 2022 World Cups and could become just the 3rd Dutchman to find the net at 3 separate tournaments. At a time when Dutch football lacks a world-class striker and still turns to Weghorst for major tournaments, Koeman will once again look to Depay. At this point you'd think Depay has copies of Koeman's leaked nudes, ready to publish if he's not on the team sheet. But joking aside, his stats speak for themselves, with nearly a goal every 2 games for the national team. Gakpo, meanwhile, is an undisputed starter and will likely partner Depay in attack. After a mixed season for Liverpool, during which he made Luis Diaz look like a messiah, he will be eager to make another statement on the international stage, having scored 3 goals at both the 2022 World Cup and Euro 2024. The Netherlands' true wildcard, however, may be right-back Denzel Dumfries, who thrives with the freedom to surge forward. Dumfries has already registered an impressive 11 goals and 18 assists in 71 caps, and his 5-goal contributions during the qualifiers were the joint most among Europe's defenders. Koeman's formula is clear. Give his 5 seasoned leaders the platform to shine and surround them with players who can provide the right balance. In defence, a back 4 of Dumfries, Van Dijk, Van Hekke and Van de Ven looks like they'd guard their penalty box with more protection than a condom. In midfield, Tijani Reinders and Ryan Gravenberch provide the energy and structure that allow De Jong to dictate play, while further forward, Donyell Malen, fresh from a strong second half of the season with Roma, adds depth in support of Gakpo and Depay. Yes, while the Netherlands lack a true number 9, their goals can come from anywhere, while the fluid rotation of their versatile forwards gives Koeman a major tactical edge. But if they are finally to end their World Cup final curse this time, it will almost certainly be because their 5 leaders rose to the occasion when it mattered most.
Every time I think of Netherlands, I think of football. I think of 4-3. I think of the high press. I think they've changed the game so many times with their culture of football and how they play the game, and well respected for being very good footballers. It's crazy that they don't have a World Cup. When you tell people they don't have one, it's kind of like a shell shock if they don't know that stat. So can they get one here? I don't know. They're in a pretty good spot right now.
If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.